Just want to let you guys know that we're starting a little earlier tonight, only because Facebook, if somebody did something and changed something on us, and it's just one of them things that happen. I'm waiting for Chance to get in here. I just reached out to him. Chance will be here in a couple minutes. I want to talk a little bit real quick before he gets here. I want to talk about the foods, and this is important. Genetically modified organic foods. Here's Chance now. Hold on. Chance is here. Chance, I had to start the show. For some reason, they were going to already cancel the show.
They were going to what?
They were going to cancel the show.
Who was?
StreamYard.
Really?
Yep.
That's crazy. So you started early?
We're live right now. So say hi to everybody. As everybody comes in, you can just, pretend that the show's already running, because it is.
Okay, great. Okay, well, I guess I don't even get to play my theme song or nothing.
Well, you can play it at the end, I guess. Listen, technology, to me, I understand it sometimes, but sometimes it just happens. I don't understand it.
Well, I hope we're not bleeding into anybody's territory right now.
Well, I don't know what that means, but all I can tell you is, we're live. So welcome to Chance's Chat. It's entertainment purposes only. People are out there already watching and listening, waiting for us. So
what about Brian? Is he here?
I didn't see Brian yet. Did you send him the link?
Oh, no, not yet. I'll do it right now. Hang on.
Send him a link. I was just going to talk real quick about, and a lot of people get confused with genetically modified organic products. And the way I have to put it out is, this is a non-GMO. This is called Vito Coco. This is a non-GMO drink, right? But GMOs and organics are not the same. They're not the same animal. Organics can have up to one item that's organic, and the whole product is organic. That's the way it works. Non-GMO can be anything organic, mostly non-genetically modified, mostly non-bioengineered foods, but also that can have a product that has one organic substance in it to make it non-GMO. It's got to be a non-GMO substance. However, both products could be sprayed or fertilized with sewer water. So, and both products and produce can be sprayed with Product Max in all of the supermarkets, even if it's marked organic. Remember that. Okay, now you can talk.
Okay, I'm looking at the comments over here. Brian should be joining us in a minute. And as always, I send Kent Dunn a link just in case.
Trumpy dance.
Anyway, Trump's speaking now, is what I understand.
He is. I just got the voters' ballot too for New Jersey. I can't tell you who I'm not voting for, but I can tell you I'm joining the bandwagon with everybody else. So
there's only one way to rock, and that's with Trump. You know that.
Hey, Brian, we're already started, Brian.
Hi. All right.
No intro, no Trump dance, nothing.
No, nothing. StreamYard was going to shut us off.
Yep. Listen to this. Our friend Ishmael Hernandez says, Chance, you're really popular with these guys that want to censor you. Oh, my God. You have no idea. My phone is being tapped now. Okay?
Oh, mine too.
I'm not kidding. Listen to this. I was talking to Will out in Washington State today. Good Dr. Will. And listen to this. We start hearing all these little star noises and all these little ding, ding. It sounds like fairies dancing in the background and stuff, And I'm sitting there going, is that on your end, Will? And he said, no. He says, they want to hear everything you're saying. And I said, yeah, they do. Now, let's get into it just a little bit deeper, where Fascinating Brian actually knows about this. Okay? This is something Fascinating Brian took on his own earlier in the week. He kind of delved into, tell me if I say anything that's not right, Brian, okay? Because I don't want to say anything that's wrong. I'm still waking up because 5 minutes ago I was sleeping like a baby.
Sorry, I woke you up, buddy. It's your show.
Yeah, no, I needed to sleep. I had like a 45-minute nap.
I know.
It was like a power nap, and I never use those terms because you think you wake up being powerful and you wake up like, oh God, give me more coffee,
Oh,
Okay.
before you tell the story, you could put it in more of a like a story format, kind of like as a passerby, just because it'll make it easier. And also we're not really being clear as to who we're talking about. So you could just like,
Yeah,
like,
sure. Well, I was watching this Chance guy, and he was appearing a lot on this other Telegram channel, and they were putting all this chats, and they were putting this on this other Telegram channel, and all of a sudden he's not on there no more. And they don't want this Chance guy on that channel no more. Let's talk about this objectively. Why am I not wanted on other shows? Oh, could it be? I only speak from my heart. I only speak from stuff that I'm sure about. Could it be that I'm the most visible, transparent, truthful individual that exists on the internet? Could be. It could be. It could not be. But how many people know where everybody else lives? How many people have their home phone number? I mean, I put it all out there. Guys, you know everything about me, and if you want to dig deep enough, you can even find out my social security number because it's out there somewhere too. People that are honest, people that are transparent, are not a welcome thing in today's society. You're all supposed to be something you're not. My son, I love him so much, and Mickey, and I love my other son, Brian, too. He's a good kid. But I love my son, Mickey, so much, and he says, Dad, sometimes you think you know everything. And I said, no, I don't know everything, Mickey. But I said, when I learn something, I have a hell of a time getting it out of my brain. And we were watching Marry Me this morning. You remember that show, Marry Me, with Jennifer Lopez? And, okay, it's a newer show, Brian. Let's see. Who was the guy that was in it? Who is it? The guy, the male lead. Owens? No. Owen somebody? He's the blonde-haired guy with the screwed up nose.
Oh, the nose guy. Yeah, Owen. Yeah,
Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson.
Yep.
Okay.
Terrible, poor thing.
I was watching Marry Me with Owen Wilson and Jennifer Lopez. Now, if you know the plot of the story, she's a rock star. She's supposed to get married on stage to another rock star. And he was holding up a sign that said, Marry Me. He was in the audience. And she got jilted on stage, found out about the cheating, and she says, I'm not marrying him. And here's Owen Wilson in the audience, and he's holding up a sign that says, Marry Me. She says, I will. I'll marry you. Okay? So we come out, and I said, I've seen the last of it, but I never saw the first of it. So we were kind of going over the first of it. And I said, oh, that's interesting. Handicapper, Barrett is tied up with a lot of things right now. So he won't be joining us until after the event. So anyway, Owen Wilson and Jennifer Lopez are in this movie, and Mickey's gonna. I said, "Oh," he says, "Well, I suppose you're gonna tell me Jennifer Lopez is a guy." I said, "Yeah," and he says, "Oh, Dad," he says, "I'm so sick of your crap." And I said, "Mickey, have you?" I didn't tell him this. This is what I didn't tell him. Okay, there's an exercise video with J-Lo. Okay. And she's doing this morning thing. She's in her tights and she's out there and she's shaking and doing her exercises, like you would expect Jennifer Lopez. And her dangling participle is just bouncing in the jeans. I'm sure you guys have all seen that, okay? You know what I mean by dangling participle? The male part, okay? So he just thinks I'm just completely nuts because he hasn't seen that video. But just remember that him and Michelle Obama have one thing in common, and Michelle Obama's dangling participle was blowing in the wind too, on Ellen's, and you could see it. And every Democrat's a guy. Is that what you just said? Maybe they are, but it's a sickness, okay? So anyway, they don't want me on the air because I can siphon through the crap. And, 10 years from now, she could look back and I could say, man, I was really full of myself and I thought I knew a lot. And I don't know everything. But I see, it's like God's Elf says, and now for the RV news with a different slant. I think that's what Jessie from God's Elf, what she says is a different slant. And because if you say the same things as everybody else, then you're just a talking head like mainstream media. Okay? I'm not a talking head. Okay. Trophy Horse 201. I'm going to address this. Leave that on the screen there, Gene.
You got it.
Okay. This is one thing I was going to talk about tonight, but I guess since my mouth is running full speed ahead, I might as well talk about this now. We've been told this is happening soon. What is the definition of soon? Because we have been told soon for weeks. It's been going on for weeks. And guess what? It's going to go on for weeks again. Why? Because tonight I was getting ready to reveal that the same thing that I've revealed for the last 3 or 4 weeks. There is going to be no shotgun start. Now, I know for a fact people who have gone in. I know groups that have gone in. And they're all under NDAs, so they're not talking. Okay? When's it going to be my turn? What about me? I'm poor. I need money. Mr. Trump, Mr. White Hats, can I go through, please? I'm poor. I need money. I need a new car, a new house. It's not about new car, new houses, Chance. But I'm poor. I need it. I know, I do too. And here's the thing. When it's your turn, it'll be your turn. It's not going to be a shotgun start. Bruce and anybody that says shotgun start are the ones that are causing all the disheartening feelings in the people. We, the people who haven't gone, are about at the end of our ropes. We're exhausted. We're tired. We wake up in Groundhog Day. We think we have a grasp on something that's happening, and then it gets yanked away from us. Okay? So all I can say, guys, is I know it's happening. I was actually booted off another group. I was actually listen, I really was on a call that I was on every night. And I told these people, well, there's Julie. Hi. It's good to see you. Debbie's not here tonight. She told me to talk about the news, and I will. And Debbie's very, very fortunate lady. I'll tell you why she is later on. Julia, it's good to see you. We were just talking about you. Anyway, so it's going to happen when it's your turn. It's not going to be any shotgun start. Now, there might be group. The group, the Henderson group that I'm in Fairfield, and I'm also in the General 64 group. One or two may go first. There have already been two major groups go through. Now, I have, I'm not going to share these sites because I don't think I'm supposed to. But if you pay a close attention, car sales are increasing. Not only in Washington State, but in Nebraska, Iowa, Vermont, and Illinois. Okay. Now, why are the car sales, when the car salesmen have been starving to death, why are new car sales increasing? Well, what do you think? Could it be they came into some money all of a sudden? Well, and here's something else. Somebody says a suggestion. If you get bounced from Telegram, you could say that. Can you say could come to this site on YouTube? Yeah, we can come to this site, but we only broadcast on this site one day a week. Okay. I have two other sites on Telegram: Chance's Chat, which is a private group, and then Chance's Live Chat 2, and that's a public group, and that's where we do the little chats at Sunday at 2:00 and Tuesday at 5:00 Central Time. So that's where we're going to be now. I need more coffee in me. Somebody, please give me some more. Roll out. We'll go to our phones. Most will not need an appointment. Yeah, you're probably right.
So my take on this whole entire ordeal of waiting on an email is becoming less and less likely an idea. Just because for optics' sakes, I feel like somewhere down the road, they're just going to give those that already kind of have an established name or identity, whether they're conspiracy theorists or not, they'll give them similar to what Kent said. They'll just receive 800 numbers and pass them on. And it would be far easier that way versus just, looking at a piece of paper, making sure you're getting the right information and, this and that. So it sounds like even from a psyops or military perspective, that would get monotonous. And I think it's counterproductive because you're in charge, right? So if you're in charge of your funds or your future endeavors, you're going to do it regardless. Again, that's my opinion on the matter.
Well, there's a lot to that. And I will tell you that this horizon of the RV is a changing one. It's a moving target. How long do we have to exchange once on Forex? That's the other thing I was going to tell you guys. It's not going to be on Forex. Forex is a cabal thing. Forex is going to disappear. It's already showing up on other platforms that you don't have access to. So forget about it. Goods. Seeds of Wisdom, I hear, is a good group. That's a good group. I'm going to address a couple questions. I got a, let's see, the Love One Society. Somebody was asking me, I can't speak about the Love One Society. I'm I was under the understanding that the Loved Ones, Ron Giles and the Loved Ones Society was holding people's money, and I guess I'm wrong. I don't know. But the woman said she's got some SKRs, and I said, well, that means that's SKR is a safekeeping receipt. And if somebody's holding your money, you don't own it. It's not your money anymore. Safekeeping receipt ain't going to get you any money. Okay? If you have somebody else holding your money or your gold or your copper or your silver, you don't hold it, you don't own it. You got it? Okay? I don't know if Ron Giles' group is doing that. I hope they're not. I would like to think they're not. He says he's a very spiritual and religious man. Good. I'm glad to hear that. I have nothing against him or any other truther out there. They're all doing the best that they can do, considering the restrictions that they're under. I don't have any restrictions. If I blurt something out I'm not supposed to and I get spanked, I get spanked. Okay? If I make a mistake, I'll make a mistake. Nothing's written in stone here. And if you don't like any of our programs that any of us are on, you got this little thing in your hand, or right here, called a mouse or a clicker or a remote or something, just turn the channel. You don't like what I say? Turn the channel. You don't have to watch this. You know, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. And sometimes we learn some really interesting things from you folks. And that's what's fun. Oh, Miss Jeannie said, and you speak the truth. Ooh. Well, thank you. I don't want to lie to any of you. And if I say something that I'm not going to try to back out of a lie or anything like that. That's why you always tell the truth. You don't have to. General Firefighter to you. I am part of the General 64 group and I have all my currency. They have never asked me for anything. This is my experience with them. Thank you guys for your information. Great show. Thank you, Firefighter. You know what's funny is since I signed up, I think I got 2 emails from them, and both of those were over 6 or 7 years ago. But I understand from people that I trust that the group is still active and they are awaiting their turn. Okay. And you know, Miss Nikki, who does different Zoom calls with me, she's wonderful, love her to death, and she says, "Now don't you go saying anything bad about Mark Z." And I said, "When did I ever say anything bad about Mark Z? That's not what I never said that. I said he reads the news off of the internet. He reads what the script writers compose. No different than the mainstream media. They hand their announcers the script. That's what they read off of. That is wrong information. Whoever tell you, Chance. Loved Ones Society is not holding anyone money. Okay, you get SKRs for free. How do you get an SKR? How can they be holding SKR? You get an SKR for free? Okay.
If you're having, I was like, if you have your own currencies and you're holding the SKR, that's redundant. So
yeah, I don't get it.
Either you don't understand the process, or it's just you're not interpreting it in a way that we can understand. So just to kind of like cut in, I wanted to kind of be specific as to why this transition is the way it is, and yes, why it kind of feels like Groundhog's Day and everything else. So let's be objective about it, right? So when you are of a lighter vibration, let's go with energy, right? So because energy is prevalent and it's exactly what's kind of happening. And as Chance said, he is transparent. I am transparent. when you start to get a lot of information together with other identities, other people that were past, present, and possibly future on the show, it's builds momentum within this collective singularity, meaning you get more viewers, right? Because now it's another entity sharing with this entity and another entity sharing this entity. Therefore, transparent and ideas are more congruent to where they're forming, they're taking shape. So when things start to take shape, people get a broader or higher visual creativity, and they're thinking, wow, no, this is really good. And then you, being the collective, will want to share it, right? So when you share it, then you bring more in. So that energy wants to become more transparent. Therefore, we're generating a field to where we're accelerating to that now moment, right? Because everyone's all about when, me, my, you're accelerating. This is energetically. You're creating that singularity where you like, I got to pull it closer and closer and closer till it's there. I'm going in, I'm doing my exchange, I got my paperwork and so forth. They notice that. The deep state or whatever, they know energy dynamics. Okay? They know that it is extremely powerful for shifting a collective's linear perception of time and accelerates. It's no different than CERN. Think of it that way. CERN is a forced energetic node to create something, to pull something, to bring something in. Does it mean you need a machine to do it? Absolutely not, because creation is quite limitless in its potential. Therefore, the collective does the same. So imagine these identities get a nice phone call. Hey, we'd appreciate it if you kind of like backtrack. It's for your safety. It's for your prosperity, maybe. Just something to think about. Or maybe, you want to enjoy your family a little longer. So there's a lot of optics. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that you, the public, don't really understand. You're not really meant to understand unless you have that perception to kind of like dive in there to see a broader view of what's going on and why chance is now, you could think of it, back to taking 2 steps back. So let's just say as he grew, he took 2 steps forward and he started to build, and now he has to take 2 steps back because certain identities had cut themselves and disappeared. So again, if you think this is all about physical warfare, it is also spiritual warfare because it's about your energy and time, right? So you spend more time worrying. They love it. Please, on behalf of all those dark entities, egregors, spend more time worrying. So I wanted to bring up something kind of cool, and I thought it was really good. A really good, I'm going to say this is my assignment to you. For those of you that have Netflix or if you have Paramount Plus, and you can use it, you can have a piece. I recommend a pad of paper, maybe a pen. Watch a TV series. I've only watched season 1 and 2, and I found it very compelling, interesting, and transparent in how the world you lived in kind of works from a energetic third dimensional holographic idea. And it's called Evil. Many of you may have heard of it. It's been recently released. I was binge watching it because I was trying to analyze the formula, right? We've got light, we've got dark, you've got your neighbors, the astral realm, the spirit realm, the egregor realm. It has a very in-depth understanding of the characters' flaws, especially when they are operating in a low vibrating construct, and the separate parts of good versus evil, religion, even Satanism. And what you will find crucial within these energy dynamics is both sides are not perfect, right? So if both sides are not perfect, that also means they're not playing as a team. Light doesn't play necessarily well with other light beings as a team. It's not perfect. And we know, sure as hell know, the dark don't play well with even their own kind. So this will give you a greater appreciation if you watch it and analyze it and ask yourself questions like, why is this relevant? It's relevant from human-based perception because most of you, and this is my opinion once again, are all operating reactionary. You're not stopping, you're not thinking first, you're not asking those critical and hard questions. Do I really need to put my energy in this right now? Should I really think about this? Am I driving myself mad? Is it worth it? Am I dropping my frequency every time I decide to just, oh, I'm going to be happy this time. And then the moment I'm not happy because something doesn't go my way, I'm going to drop down even further in the reverse. And when you're in that bottom of the barrel, it's very hard to pick yourself up and take yourself out of it. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because you need to understand a lot of different formulas that are very, very complex. Because it'll also tell you that the game boards are severely hijacked. And they show that in the series, which is clever. They show you just how meticulous the inner workings of separate entities are in their structure for their game, for their realm. They aren't necessarily aligned, and they can sometimes operate in neutral parameters, meaning it could be good and supportive of the human, and then at other times it could be shady and very, very dark for the public or supportive of an individual and not necessarily for the collective, which goes again as being somewhat biased and then unbiased. So there's a lot of switching and flip-flopping. So anyways, that is my what I wish to bring to the table as a lesson. So please check out the series and observe, be of critical thinking, analyze it, and I think you'll start to really grasp how the formula really works. All right.
You hit a lot of good points there, Brian. I would like to add that when that's the fan running in my living room. That
sounds like a bee.
Yeah. Sorry. But anyway, the microphones are really sensitive condenser mics on. But anyway, I would like to add that somebody put something on here that's really good. We almost remember this is a speculative investment. It's no longer speculative, by the way. No one knows how, when, or how long it's all going to be for us to get through. It's not going to be a shotgun start. It's absolutely impossible for it to be a shotgun start. We would have to have redemption centers, banks, within every 10 miles of everybody. And there's not, with all the banks failing, that's not happening. Okay. Oh, I have no music playing in the background. I'm sorry. I can sing you a song if you like. Say, won't you play another somebody done somebody wrong song? There, how's that? Okay. So anyway, yeah, and it is speculative, but not anymore. It was speculative. I've got confirmed people who've been paid. I can't say their names, and people whose I am on their partial NDAs. So the only thing I can tell you is yes, it's going to happen. For you, I can't tell you when. I can't tell you where, and I can't tell you how much. I can't tell you rate and a date. Okay, but let me explain something to you. I get all the time on Telegram people asking, "Well, what's the dawn coming out at?" Here's a good one right here. We had this one. Dave, the XRP Lion says, I will someday. XRP Lion says, says that the 50 trillion Zim note won't be worth as much as 100. Okay, he just been sleeping on him. He's just sleeping a little bit too much. I think he's getting his wires crossed. There's no way you can't have two 100 trillion notes or two 50 trillion notes worth the same as one 100 trillion. You know, okay. So, you know, he gets a lot of things really good, but then he fouls up on something like that. Okay. It's just like, sorry, but it's, and I know most of you don't know anybody. And I just happened to have, in fact, let me tell you how this show got started. Okay. I was a guest on Kent Dunn's show, and most everybody here knows that. I was a guest on Kent Dunn's show on KCOR, and people kept wanting me back, so I kept going on. And then Kent started what I would say looping, maybe. You know what I mean? You know what I mean by looping? Looping is like being repetitive. His shows were, you know, slight variations of the one before. And I got to thinking, you know, Kent, there's a lot going on that people really need to know. And he's not being completely transparent and putting out the stuff that I think he should be. Not that he was doing anything wrong. He was doing a great job. I love Kent. He's like my brother. But I thought people need to know more. So I got on the phone with Gino, and that's why Chance's Chat on HamiltonRadio.net exists, is because of Gene right here. And we've had a very interesting and prosperous relationship between the two of us. And I'm very supportive of the station. He's very supportive of me. And okay, is not a good guy. Somebody says XRP Lion is not a good guy. He flipped. Wow, I would like to know how that is.
It doesn't matter.
I guess it doesn't, because it's all psychops.
None of it matters. I mean, just seeing a post where the showing the different jaw structure or female facial structure of Benjamin Fulford. I'm like, look, at this point, none of you should.
Who cares?
And it doesn't matter at this point. So how are any of you going to break your cycles or loops? And this is just a genuine question. You really, the key to break everything on your board game is just neutrality, and to be a neutral observer in everything you do, because it's like the same principle of you saying, you know, I'm rubber, you're glue, anything you say sticks back to you. Okay, so that also means if you are neutral in your frequency, you do not collide with anyone that is of positivity. Okay, that also means you do not collide with anyone that is of negativity. You're neutral. you are on this, I would like to call the tightrope. You're in the middle. You're in between. So you could fall on either side. You could either fall on the positive side where you want to choose to feel positive, or you can choose to feel negative. Everyone has perpetual loops. Everyone does have cycles. It is normal. It is okay. It does get exhausting and tiring. I have them too. Is it all, and is it a struggle? Well, you just have to make peace with that idea too. Is it a struggle, or is it for your growth? And I found something interesting, and I was analyzing another show, and I found this concept to be quite endearing. The fact that if you can imagine you have a higher self outside, not planetary, it's kind of way, way, way high up. And then you are a representation of the fractal of the higher self. And yet you feel in your core being that your higher self isn't really honoring your free will, so to speak, where you think you signed up for these hardships, you think you signed up for this and that, and when you leave, however that may be, and you return to kind of take part with that higher version of yourself, because you're going to have some complaints, right? You're going to say, I'm not sure if I agreed to this during the halftime, and during the final touchdown, I was kind of more speculating we would just kind of stay within ground zero here and there. So if you do not like the outcome, and Source is very, very clever. How do you break away from a greater version of yourself? Simple. You become the new higher you. You have to. And you just say, lessons learned. I'll never do it again. I'll go my way. It is the principle of how you can think of Source had its own Big Bang Theory moment, right? So there's always fractalization, even among your collective. They're just more of you and you're more of it. That's clever. So it's like the higher identity fractalized to create a lower identity. The lower identity decided to say, I thought your ideas were good, but I think I'm going to go my way now. And it's honored, completely honored. Still, it's very interesting when you think about that concept. I wouldn't have thought that from a very limitless perspective. But until the meantime, what you're having to deal with here, and I noticed someone said, like, how do you deal with your evil deeds? So evil deeds is quite subjective. What is considered evil, right? So if you're saying you stole something as an evil deed, remember, they're all variants and they're all within different vibrational brackets. So if you're saying you killed someone, then you better save 5 lives. And how are you going to save 5 lives? Well, I hope you wearing body armor when you take bullets. That's one way. That'll balance out that deed that you consider evil. So again, all ideas anyways, right? All variants. You pick and choose. It's not cut and dry, light and dark, evil, because it's just very complex. All right, thanks.
Well, Brian, if you do the water thing, you've seen the water thing, 2 jugs of water, and you give love and positive affirmations to one, and say evil things to the other one. The water not only will taste different, but it'll have different. Looked under a microscope, will have completely different vibrational patterns, and oh, some of these people are making some crazy comments, but anyway, it's all good. But anyway, that just tells you how influential your thoughts, the words that you say, and the directions that you go can influence everything in your reality. You're just absolutely constantly changing your own reality. Okay. I think about my friends that have died. And I heard about a lady that I knew being very, very ill. Actually, I've heard about 3 or 4 ladies that I know being very, very ill, and I'm very distressed about that. So before I go any further about that, I want to tell you, white hats, Trump, we're tired. We're tired of this crap. We're tired of this movie. It's over. Bring on the med beds. Let's get some people healed. Let's get moving forward. Now, I'll talk about healing. What a healing you guys, the audience, everybody listening, the sound of my voice, have done the last 2 weeks with the family down in Louisiana. You have changed their life so much. They are in a 3-bedroom trailer. 3 of the adults in the family have jobs. They all have bedrooms. The boys have a room, and the brother-in-law has a room, and the husband and wife have a room. They have electricity. They're able to survive with the electricity on, in the humidity that's down south in Louisiana. And it's all because of you guys, okay? Now, they got 2 weeks to go before they get their first paycheck. And then they're going to be able to roll on their own, okay? So if you can, send us a $5 donation or whatever. They got their dogs back. They need money for dog food. I'm going to send a few bucks. You Cash App, $BD HIPPI, BD Hippie. Okay, this will help them. They're getting food from the food pantries. They're doing okay with the food. They just need dog food, and I think they're going to be leveled out that they can start taking care of themselves. In a couple of weeks, they'll start getting a paycheck. So if you can, or if you can't, send it to BD Hippie. You can send it to me at, my Cash App. Everybody does. 319-561-0064. I'll shoot it down to them. Big thanks to Dr. Brian. Big thanks to Dr. Brian for every week sending a donation. He's been one of the real troopers. And when he can't hear the show and he listens to it later, he sends it. He says, and for next week, I'm going to be out of town or whatever. Pretty cool guy. It's very nice. Okay, now I want to tell you all a story about negativity. They are getting all their dog food got thrown away. They're getting a FIFSA check, whatever that means, Min Chow. Thank you. Okay. I want to tell you a story about what happened with the main humanitarian group that I am in. That happened 12 years ago. I've been in the group for 13 years. I've been waiting 13 years for the RV. And all of us everybody had turned in their currency except for about maybe 10 or 12 people that I particularly knew. Brother Phil, myself, Brother Jack, brother this one, sister that one. Okay. Okay. And so there was only about 12 of us out of about 150 people in the group that had our currency. And what had happened was the leader of the group got sick, deathly sick. They thought he almost died. He got a flu that was so bad he couldn't. It was debilitating. And so the number 2 guy worked out a deal. Look at my face when I say worked out a deal for this guy to come in town and pick up all their currency, and he'll be back in just a couple weeks, and everybody will get paid because he was an insider. And that's when I really started noticing that my bullshit detector just went spider sense. I called up everybody I knew. I said, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. And the number 2 guy said to me, you have screwed up this deal for everybody. You're out of the group. I said, okay, I'm out of the group. I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel guilty. I didn't believe it. It didn't feel right to me. It was against everything. And this time I'd known these people for a year, and I'd had relationships with them. And I knew something just wasn't right. Well, what happened was 2 months later, after I was kicked out of the group, the leader of the group, Tommy calls me, and he says, I understand you got kicked out of the group. I said, oh, Tommy, it says, good to hear from you. I heard you were really, really sick. He says, dude, I about died. He says, I'm back. Everything's cool. But he says, I heard you got kicked out of the group. And I said, yeah. So-and-so kicked me out of the group. Well, what'd you do? And I told him what I did. He said the whole thing was a scam. Number 2 guy did not know about it. Did not know it was a scam. He was desperate for, to be liquid. So he almost accidentally sold everybody down farm. But you screwed the whole thing up. That means you saved everybody in the group. And of course, he did mention my Superman shirt that I always wear, And I said, well, I just couldn't let, I couldn't let Phil and Jack and the rest of the guys go down. I said, it just didn't feel right. I said, Tommy, it just didn't feel right. And he says, you're not out of the group unless you want to be. And I said, no, I like the group. And the number 2 guy and I have been friends, but he knows what I did. He knows that I stopped him, and he won't say thank you, and he won't say I was wrong or anything like that. But it's cool. I don't need an apology. I don't need anything. Okay, because I was just doing what I thought was right, and that's what this whole show is about. Is me doing what I think is right. Okay, and I'm a human being. I can make mistakes. If I make one, shame on me, and I'll be the first one to stand up and apologize. But I've woke up in the morning and I just knew I was in touch with Source. Morning after morning, I wake up and Source, Heavenly Father, Yahweh, whatever you want to call him, the ultimate positive energy. Anyway, I feel like he's with me and he's telling me what to do and he's guiding me. Oh, you're fine, Susan. Oh, yeah, you're fine, Susan. Hey, come on now. I may be old, but I ain't dead yet, okay? Anyway, so when I wake up and I feel like that, it's just, and I feel like he's around me and he's doing things. And so I'll get up in the morning and I'll have, my doggy duties to take care of and my laundry and everything and trash and everything that we do. And it looks, if I was to write it all out on a piece of paper, it looks like I have so much to do. But what I do, instead of trying to hurry and rush through everything, I just take my time. I just go slow. I figure things out as I go along. and I find time-saving steps along the way by slowing down that actually enable me to conserve my energies and get things done more efficiently. So when you hurry up and you rush and you panic and you lose sense of who you are. You lose sense of your common sense. And so I've been slowing down, and I seem to get a lot more done by slowing down. I want to talk about Tara. Okay, Tara says this. She says, this is a great question. I've told people about this. Chance, do you have any info on China surrounding Taiwan? I heard they signed an agreement years ago. Tara, you are the only person that's paying attention. There is not going to be no conflict in Taiwan. She's right. I've been telling people for 3 years. Taiwan has become part of China. I know people there. We're part of China. All this stuff that goes on the Western news is just a bunch of horse crap. And they're right. And so they will try to make you think another war. They will try to make you think another conflict. And, if I was they, and this is why they hate me, I'm telling the truth. And one time I was talking about this on Kent's show, and Kent says, how'd you find that out? He says, I thought I was the only one that knew it was bullshit. And I said, no. I said, I actually know somebody over there that's teaching English. He's an English teacher. I actually know somebody over there. Him and I used to work out of Macomb, Illinois together. And we've kept in touch through the years, through email and whatever. And I know that they've got a new republic started over there. But see, this is the bad guys. This is the negative energy. Yeah. Good question, Tara, because you hit the nail on the head. You knew it. You remembered it. You remember what I said. Thank you.
Yeah, but here's the problem, and this is where people need to be clever in their discernment too. I don't know why people can't vet the information. Search. Call somebody if you know somebody. Try and look at multiple angles for yourself. Again, you're doing it for you. Don't idolize Chance. Don't make him responsible for the information. You want to be responsible for any and all information you are consuming. You have to do this for yourself. It's really important. I've been saying for months and months and months and months, psyops, psyops, psyops. It is all for you to not pay attention to you. It's really all it is. It's like if you understood your beautiful screen, your beautiful cameras, they're portals, right? It's a mirror. There are things that want to suck your energy, and they do cleverly. They do. It is all about your energy. So there's this nice trend that the human likes to do, and that's just actionary sequences. Ask a lot of external questions, and this is exactly what you're going to get. And we're going to loop and continue the same process week after week till something shifts from a more higher dynamic, transparent element. Yes, whatever that idea is, the lockdown or Gitmo channel, who cares at this point? Honest to God. It's just you're all really, in my opinion, just wasting your energy when you could do things far better. And if you need to and focus, right? So a perfect example would be, I don't know, sell some things you don't really want buy some more Venezuela digitalis. That's a perfect example. So there you're choosing action. Okay, rummaging through my house, seeing if I can eBay it. If it's worth selling, I'll try it. And then while you're waiting, you have a new mindset, right? So now you're exhibiting a growth, saying I'm being my own humanitarian by choosing to set my terms and conditions. The terms and conditions is make a little extra cash flow, whether it's, you're selling your silver. If you feel you don't need your silver, though, you can keep it. Or just selling stuff that you don't need around the house. So this is what you would call productive versus counterproductive. So pick, everyone. Okay.
I got something I want to talk about here. A couple things I want to talk about. I got a letter from a Mrs. Nelson. Mrs. Nelson, I know who you are, and we talked today. Mrs. Nelson wants to sell about $2,500 worth of Vietnamese dong. I don't know anybody that has $2,500, but I did figure out a solution to your dong situation. Now she wants to sell the dong because of rent and some other things, and I about fell over when she told me how much her rent was, and it was just blew my mind. But you are Vietnamese native, and you have a lot of Vietnamese dong. You don't have to sell your currency. All you have to do, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying, Mrs. Nelson.
No.
All you have to do is go to a bank that has a multi-currency account where you could deposit not only Indonesian rupiah and Vietnamese dong, but any currency that's accepted on the Forex. You want a multi-currency account. So if you are holding 100 million Vietnamese dong, you deposit it into that bank. And then it will work just exactly like, no, that's my fan. I'm sorry. It will act just like the Wise account does. If you're holding your currency in Vietnamese dong, but you're showing a U.S. balance, and then all you have to do is put all of your dong into a multi-currency account at a bank or a credit union, and then use your debit card to pay your rent. It'll automatically convert it. Okay? That's your solution. We don't have to worry about doing any side deals on selling currency or anything like that. Just understand that, okay? So you need a multi-currency account at your local bank. Hopefully you've got a Chase or a Wells Fargo or something like that you can go in and set up a multi-currency account, and then they'll give you a debit card, and then you can use the debit card to pay your rent. Okay? We don't have to worry about all this selling stuff, okay? There's something I want to go over. And if any of you are having problems with law enforcement, I want you to pay close attention to a situation I was in 2 years ago. Okay. Does anybody remember the deal when I got 21 traffic tickets? Everybody remembers that? I got 21 traffic tickets 3 months because I had no driver's license. I had no insurance. And I had expired plates. And they were giving me tickets all over the place. Now, I had the constitutional proof that none of that is required for traveling, only for commerce. They were trying to put me in commerce. I was not in commerce. So what happened was I played a game with them back and forth, and I finally got to the situation where we were 2 weeks away from a jury trial, and I told him, I said, look, you just drop all the charges, and I'll pay 2 non-moving violation charges, and you guys could keep all your bond money that you say you don't have, and blah, 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 and we'll make this go. Okay, make this go away. Okay. Well, they did. I paid off the fines. Took me 6 months to pay off the fines, but I did. And so I could have avoided this whole scenario with two things. Okay. With two things. One thing, if I would have had an express trust for Maria Janet, if I would have had an express trust, they wouldn't have been able to touch me in court because they would have had no jurisdiction. But if I'd have had this next document, the cop wouldn't have even been able to give me a ticket, restrain me, or anything. And that is the purple passport that you need to be out of the system. It changes your status. What it is the passport application information is as such. It includes with passport application with links to apply for a sample application. And number two, an explanatory statement for an ambassador at large passport. This is huge. This is huge. Testimony in truth affidavit of non-resident alien non-citizen. This is huge. You don't have an address. They can't give you a ticket. A durable power of attorney. And lastly, a universal postal union information on how to apply stamps. Stamps will needed to be applied to your application. Example is a UPU document on page 4 of 13. Okay. It's not that hard. Okay. The price is $600 for all the passport information and includes all the above documents with information on how to fill out the application. This will give you ambassador status. This is your get out of jail free card if you're having problems. Now let's talk about this. Let's say you've already got $3,000 worth of fines you're paying on. Guess what? This changes your status. Kiss your fines goodbye. Okay. Now, why is this passport so important? Well, when you have an ambassador at large passport, you are no longer a person under their jurisdiction. You are now on the stop, do not detain list, which all officers have access to by their computer and by radio. You also correct your status and standing and no longer a U.S. citizen slave. The passport can be used for identification without an address of U.S. citizen jurisdiction. Are you listening to that? That's huge. The passport can be used for identification without an address of U.S. citizen jurisdiction. U.S. citizen jurisdiction takes you out of the court. All the other government-issued IDs have an attached are attached to the straw man. This is not. The durable power of attorney is an agreement between you, the living man / agent, and your straw man principal that puts you in charge as a beneficiary for your authorized credits. It stops corporations and companies voluntarily using your information. Now, if you would like the documents prepared for you, it's an extra $150 fee, but this does not include the passport application. You must do it yourself. The durable power of attorney by itself can be purchased for $350 and completely prepared for you. Now, that stops you there. But let's say you're at your point. You haven't made your house payments. You lost your job. You're in a mess. You need the express trust. Now, why is it you can go back and get all your money back on your fines, on your court actions, on your property tax. Why is you can get all this money back? Because you are bringing with the Express Trust new information to light that proves that you were never under their jurisdiction. This is powerful. This is $2,500. If you want to be put in contact with Maria Janet, you contact me at chancemusic@yahoo.com. Do not contact me unless you have the resources to pay the $2,500, because she cannot operate on a pay you next week deal. Okay, she cannot. She's very, very busy doing these things. Now, if you are, lady I talked to 2 days ago, what's your house worth? $250,000. That's what's your assessed value. $250,000, right? Right. How much do you owe? $111,000. Okay, so you got $140,000 in equity, right? Right. And if you don't get something happening real quick, you're going to lose your house, right? Yep. They've already sent her a cure to default, if you know what that is. That means you got 30 days. I said, well, what are you going to do? Well, I guess I'm going to try to get the money to get the payments together. I said, how much is that? Well, she says I'm about $8,000 behind. I said, why don't you just get $2,500 together and give it to Maria Janet. Let her fix this situation for you. Because this is the silver bullet that will fix the situation. Okay? Listen, I'm sorry. Money is energy.
Can I say something, Chance?
Absolutely.
So someone said, what about the DOT tax? So what's really important to understand is that these are layered, meaning you're covering certain principles. So I showed a long time ago, and I'll show it again another time. I do have the DOT tags. I do have a irrevocable and revocable trust. I also have seen legitimately what he just talked about as the passport. I've seen it. Okay. It is very legit. I also even have the paperwork. I have some of it right here. It's, I'm in the process of doing it myself. So the reason why it's really important to understand the straw man account. So here's the idea of the straw man account. They have accurate statements, and this is what really angers me. I am actually livid. The fact that every time, whether it's a police or the courts, when they take a bond or do an indictment, a brand new indictment, they're dipping into your account. That's what they're doing. That should piss you off. It really enrages me. The good news is it's all documented, right? So it's in the system. It's already input. Does that mean that what they did unethically is totally lost or gone? No, because it's going to be returned to you at some point in time. You're just kind of waiting to play with that idea too, to where you see all the charges and numbers and the receipt statement. Oh yeah, this company took from you this and this and this and this, and you're like, holy cow, how nefarious of all these agencies. So you're holding this piece of paper up and you're looking at all that money that's been returned to you, to give you a realization from, again, linear perception of how deep this rabbit, jargon BS-ness goes. So that said is, even though you have the DOT tags, and even though you will have this higher tier, don't stop and mess with me, I'm free to go wherever, idea passport, you're layering it and covering your tracks. Is it perfect? No. Maybe you may have to ask a lot of questions to the individual or research tools. How do I speak the proper context and language so I have no slip-ups? Okay? These systems are working in parallel for now. till they get re-educated. That means whatever entity of a force, whether a police officer system is still going to be there, I'm sure they're still going to need some things like that, right? So all these systems are still going to be slowly reconfigured over a long period of time. Do we know how long? We don't know. The cleanup is huge, right? We've got a lot of dredges of society in systems that have just putrefied it. So we need to empty out those petri dishes, so to speak. So that's really what you're waiting on. But we're not trying to do a money grab, just so you know. This is about preparedness, right? So if you are preparing your identity to be sovereign, to walk forward with all this little stuff here and there saying, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. No, it has to be this way. It has to be that way. You're saying, I have documentation, more than one kind. I also know the context of how to engage the system carefully because I studied, I practiced in a mirror, practice with a friend. So you are setting the stage for what you would call a higher tier journey. And why would you? It's all about what you want to create. So, and since I am someone who is all about preparedness, yeah, you better believe I'm going to cover my tracks. Do I use my DOT license plates? I actually don't. I still pay insurance. I still have my old license plate because I don't know the language. I'm not ready to be brazen enough to kind of go against the system because I don't want problems right now because I already have enough problems when it comes to finances, when it comes to relationships, with especially with ex and children and whoever else is sharing a journey with me. I don't need that. So I'd rather blend in temporarily for now, again, incognito, while I set myself up for a higher tier existence. You have to be clever in everything that you do now. I recommend it because that's the new journey. That should be the new perception for everybody. So honor that. All right.
Amen, brother. I'm going to tell you, I may have told you this on the phone earlier in the week, Brian. Brian and I are very close friends. He's like a brother to me. And I want to tell you, I'm going to tell you what happened to me down at the Fort Madison Police Department on today's Thursday, so it was Monday. I went down because a couple of guitars got stolen from me. And I went down and talked to the police about it. They're protecting this guy for one reason or another. Either that or hands are tied, whatever corporate BS is about. But he says, I want to talk to you outside, Chance. And I said, okay. So we went outside, and he's a big guy, about 6'3", John, it looks like John Wayne, and here I am, 5'6.5". Yeah, Chief, what can I do for you? And he says, I want to tell you something. Yeah. He says, the country is going into a very dark place very quickly. And I said, yes, it is. And he said, this community only has two things going for it. Me and you. He says, I watch your show. I know what you're saying. Good. I know what you're doing. And he says, you and I are the only thing this community has to get them out of the dark place. And, when he said that to me, it just about knocked me over. And because I'm not used to getting compliments locally, but he knew, I've learned a lot of crap, folks. And the people that I associate myself, I'm okay, Susan. Thank you for your concern. I really do appreciate it. I'll tell you about that too here in a minute. But I've learned a lot of crap, and everybody that I associate with myself with, whether it be Marie Janet or Raymond or any of the other people that I work with on various different things, and it's amazing the people that come together, that they're sharing the same energy, that are coming together for mutual benefit of people. We have collectively this group of about, I would say it's a mini think tank of about 8 people, have kept people in their houses, kept them from getting arrested, kept them from going to court. 80-year-old woman just the other day, Marie Janet saved her from being kicked out on the street because she couldn't pay her mortgage. And guess what? She don't have to pay her mortgage now. How you like that? How you like that, Mr. Bank of Fiat currency? How do you like it? How's that crow taste? Did you eat it raw or did you get it cooked a little bit? Okay, ketchup, barbecue sauce, how did it taste? And that's why we do it. Money is energy. We have to have money. We have to have compensation for our time and that energy. But that's not the main thing. And when the chief of police of a town of about 15,000 people say, our country's headed into a very dark time, Chance, and you and I are going to be the only thing this community has to pull it out of it. I practically filled my drawers. I mean, really, I'm not used to getting those kind of compliments from notable public officials. So,
It's beautiful.
Huh?
I was saying it's beautiful. I mean, that's camaraderie. And that's
I didn't do it very close, but
I mean,
shucks. I'm just me being me, I'm just doing me.
It's worthy of tears of joy, because that is like a very soldiery, I'd say, bromance response. So it's like camaraderie, pretty much. Like you're both in line, and you are beholden to, like, you wish to embody a higher tier element within your construct, which means you want to represent a higher or truer essence within the city. So essentially create a new identity of what your town means to the people. So what he says does have a lot of legitimacy, because it means that there will come a time where you and him, and probably others alike, will support this new creation within that city in a very dynamic but also transparent fashion. But until then, he gets it, right? Dark times. You don't know, you don't understand how bad it's going to be. And he probably does, but at the same time, he probably has information where he's not allowed to talk. I can guarantee he's probably been visited by military, security personnel, to where he can only say that part because he knows that it's not safe. Perfect example, outside of the building. No cameras, no phones, no one there to listen to. Think about it. This is how big your scale of warfare is behind the scenes. You cannot trust anybody but you, and assuming you know your family members well enough, and just take care of the things that you can only take care of. So I think that is powerful in its storytelling, but that gives you a glimpse as we go on in June, July, we're going to see a lot of dynamic things. But again, focus out here, right? Everything that goes on the other side of the world, because we don't live there, we can't see it, but we sure as hell can believe in it. Versus focusing on our current realm
Right.
in our state.
Right. Very good, Brian. Debbie wanted me to give this update. Debbie will be back with us next week. She is exhausted. I'm going to tell you why she's exhausted. First of all, we had a lady, talking about, hope you were safe. And Susan Bain said, lots of bad weather in Iowa. Hope you're okay. We are okay in Fort Madison, Iowa, and 2-mile radius of where Debbie Stevens lives in Des Moines. She covered her area with the armor of the Creator, like I did. I covered my southeast Iowa. We never got touched. We never got a drop. Debbie had destruction all around her, and her house and her business was okay. This is what your energy can do for you. But in Greenfield, Iowa, there could be possibly 100 people that are gone.
Oh. And
that makes me sick. I literally cried over that. And she says, do the news for me tonight. I'm exhausted. Debbie is exhausted. She's dealing with trying to get her car lot cleaned up. She's dealing with trees all over in the neighborhood in Des Moines. It's just unbelievable. So she updates me with this. She says, okay, I guess there's only 4 people that have died, but I don't know where the other people are. So they're just calling it their whereabouts is unknown. They're calling it casualties. People don't just disappear. Okay. So, blessings to all the people in Greenfield, Iowa. And we're going to say some prayers after the show. You can say prayers whenever you want to. They're part of our Iowa family. They're human beings that eat, sleep, go to the bathroom, shower just like we do. They are victims of God only knows what. We just pray that they're all safe wherever they're at. And for the ones that are gone, have a wonderful journey and be safe on the other side. That's all I can say about that. So if you decide you want to get the ambassador passport, or you want to get the Express Trust, and if you want to talk about it and you're serious about it, then call me. Hi, Jerry. Jerry, you and I are owed a conversation. We need to get together probably Saturday or Sunday and have a good yak session. There's a bunch of stuff going on I'd like to tell you about. So, Jerry, I will talk to you Saturday or Sunday. Jerry's he's a brother that lives in Pennsylvania, and he's a good dude. He's solid as a rock. If you want to get the RV protocol papers, now, I've had a lot of people ask it, what are the RV protocol papers? Okay, what do you know? Do you know who, what, where, when, and how you're supposed to do when you go in for your RV appointment? Well, you got bits and pieces. Who's put it all together in one compilation? Well, we've got it right here. It's $50, and you can donate or you can give a love offering. I'm no longer saying the word donate. I'm going to say love offering because it is all about love at this point. Send me a love offering of $50 to 319-561-0064, Cash App or Zelle. And it works. The RV protocol papers work in Europe. I send them by email. Make sure I have your email address. You send me an email from Europe and tell me you want them, and I will send you a wise.com request for $50, and I'll send you over the documents. Okay? Documents are very, very powerful. Doc has them. Brian has them. Debbie's got them. Okay? This is all what this time is now before recreational vehicle hits. is the same thing that the purple ambassador passport's about, the same thing the express trust is about, the same thing that the irrevocable and revocable trusts are all about. They are all about preparedness. Okay? The time you spend with Source, Creator, Yahweh. The time you spend with Him. This is a different kind of preparedness. It's all energy. Money is energy. Time spent with Source is energy. Prayers are energy. Putting on the armor of God is a powerful energy. Do not discount that energy. Vital K Energy says, recently I had a dream that a horrific storm was coming to the U.S. I searched up and down for places of safety and realized in the dream that only prayer will help. And that is right. You can literally, I'm going to tell you another story. And everybody says, Chance, you got more stories. Oh, I think my whole life is nothing but stories. Are red light cameras illegal? Yes, they are. And I can tell you how to beat them. Okay. chancemusic@yahoo.com. Okay. I am a constitutional lawyer. I am not a bar attorney. I'm helping people every day, and I work on donations. But we'll call them love offerings instead. Okay. Okay. But I'm going to tell you a story. 8 years ago, we had been 4 or 5 years waiting for the RV, and a group of us, Brother Jack, Sister Teresa, Brother Phil. We didn't all go to the same church. They're my brothers and sisters here in the community. So Brother Phil, Sister Teresa, Brother Jack, and I, we all did our individual blessings on some distilled water. Positive affirmations into the water. And we chose our words very carefully because words themselves are energy. And we took turns dumping the water in with our prayers, one at a time. We went to the end of the dock, dumped it in the Mississippi River, and it was in October, about 8 years ago. That winter around here was god-awful. And people's cars wouldn't start. Tow companies were working like overtime. People couldn't go to work. People couldn't get to the hospital. Emergency crews were all over the place. But guess who wasn't affected? Up to Minneapolis, Iowa, is where the bad weather started. And down to Keokuk, Iowa, on Highway 61. 61. Okay. In a circle, Southeast Iowa circle, we were untouched. We had no freezing rain. We had no 12 inches of snow. We had just a mild, quiet winter. And everybody wondered, why did we dodge that bullet? Keokuk, Burlington, Minneapolis, Fort Madison. How did we dodge that bullet? I know. Because we did the prayers, we did the affirmations, and we dumped the blessed water into the Mississippi River. You could call it whatever you want. Call it whatever you want. I don't care what you call it. You could say, Chance, you're full of crap up to your eyeballs and the rest is toilet paper. I don't care what you say. But I know it worked. And it worked firsthand because the four of us that did it, there's only one left around here besides me, and that's Teresa. I haven't seen Teresa in a couple of years since Phil died, but she'll tell you. This was just like a mild winter. She lives in Denmark, like 4 miles outside of town, little bitty town. And she'll tell you how the weather was. It was amazing. So Debbie's safe. Debbie's Carlotta's safe. Debbie's house is safe. Debbie didn't have any trees fall down. Praise source. Praise Yahweh. Praise Jesus. Praise your higher power, whatever it is. Now, I talk about source. I talk about Jesus. I talk about the Lord, Yahweh, Yahuwah. I talk about him a lot. And the reason I do that is because I want to keep him with me all the time. And I also have a positive affirmation number, which is 520-741-8. I bring it into my life every day along with the Holy Spirits. Okay? I don't go to a church. My church is wherever I'm sitting. You know, I'm reminded of the song Signs. Signs, signs, everywhere are signs. Remember that song?
Mhm.
Everywhere a sign. Okay. Do this, don't do that. Can you read the sign? Well, I took my pen and paper and I wrote out my own little sign at the offering plate, as the song goes. And it says, "Thank you, Lord, for thinking about me. I'm alive and I'm doing fine." That was the whole idea. And there's my church. Not that song. That's the way I feel. And yeah, I've had some energy things sucking at me. Vampires, energy vampires, they love me because the more positive you are, the better looking meal you end up being. Okay, Brian tells me that all. They love you, man. You're full of positive energy. They want to suck you dry, and he's right. You know, because my sciatic is gone. Okay, and my tooth infection is or not my gum infection, not tooth. My gum infection is almost gone. Okay, I'm doing a mustard seed rinse, and I'm doing a coconut rinse, and I'm doing a saltwater rinse. It's almost gone. Okay, and that's all helping with the detoxing. But the more they come at me, the more I'm going to fight them. This in the comic books stands for hope. That's what the Superman logo means. I believe that the real Superman was the individual most of you call Jesus Christ. And that's why I wear it in honor, not of a fictitious character, but in honor of the Savior. So, with this in mind, I want to ask my dear brother and friend, Fascinating Brian, what your final thoughts are for tonight, sir.
Okay, so a quick recap. This is, again, your opportunity. I'm giving you some assignments. So one of the assignments is go through your materialism. Whatever you don't need, sell it. And put it in a Wise account or buy Venezuela Digitalis. This, again, is a type of preparedness where you're creatively but action-wise showing your prospect as a humanitarian, or abundance, just so you can have something better for yourself and for your livelihood, because you are worthy. Everyone is worthy, but you're only worthy if you believe and if you embody a type of preparedness, and then you take charge, right? Also, the other assignment is Netflix or Paramount Plus. If you watch Evil, trust me, it'll be a very diverse experience, and you're going to have a lot of questions. But it also will give you tools. Surprisingly, they do give you tools how to navigate the astral, but I'm not going to tell you, but it is in the series. So it's clever, and it is very accurate in a great many ways. And if anyone wishes to endeavor to or need advice on spirituality or consultation, or try to tap into your higher self, or if you have ailments such as erectile dysfunction, ADHD, chronic migraines, depression, bipolar, I already had all that. Don't have it. Haven't had it for 8 years now. So I am a wealth of knowledge, and you can contact me and leave a message, please, because I do not pick up the phone right away. I always listen to the messages. So 774-208-2377. And I promise I will get back to you.
Thank you, Brian. As usual, you're still fascinating. And the one and only DocG, who all things would not be possible without him, here on HamiltonRadio.net. Could I get your final thoughts this evening, sir?
Yeah, my final thoughts are I can't be after Brian because you can't top him. He's as fascinating as it says he is. My thoughts are the manifesting. Everybody needs to manifest things, and I'll just tell you a little situation that happened with me the last 5 nights. For 55 times, I wrote on a piece of paper for what it's worth, whatever amount of money I want it in my account. Today, I got a phone call. This is the 5th day. I got a phone call from one of my cousins because my uncle passed away a couple months ago. He says there's an estate due. He says we're going to see what kind of money's coming in, and we'll let you know. We just want to make sure that everybody's, that passed away is deceased on the list, and then the lawyer will process the amount. Now, I don't know if that was just in the, it seems like it's a consequence, but it's not. It's more of a wish, and that wish has been granted. And as I told him, it doesn't matter the amount of money that I get. What matters is that what I asked for is happening. That's what matters to me, and I look at it as a favor to not only people to understand the manifesting how it works, but to dip into this because it doesn't cost you anything. It's you and God. You believe what you're saying, you feel it, and the emotional output of saying it over and over again and writing it over and over again gives you that reaffirmation. So I just want to say that. And in June, we're coming up 28 years for the radio station, which is a celebration that I can't even begin to believe is still going on. And it's my 63rd birthday. So I'm really excited about going into June.
Awesome. Thank you, DocG. My final thoughts is I'm very grateful that I got everything in tonight that I wanted to talk about. Thanks for listening. We will be back here next Thursday, hopefully. We will have Debbie with us. Here's a comment from whatever. If you're on the fence regarding the RV protocol, do it yourself a favor and get it. The RVP came in. Let's see. The protocol came in the clutch for me back in October 2023 when I completed the documents. It's about being prepared. Everything tonight we talked about is about being prepared. I love you guys. Next week, right here on HamiltonRadio.net, Chances Chat. We'll see you then. Love you guys. Y'all come back now. Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.